Hi! Hi. Hi. I am back for another chill sharing of my solo travel journey. This time I'll be talking about Bali, a very popular place. I spent the first week with my friends and as part of our graduation trip. And the real adventure began when they left. Because for the first week I was just exploring touristy places. Bali is really nice. Beach resorts, scenic places, cafe food. So all of that. And this is a really significant trip in my life because it was a very different holiday. Yeah, let me just share how it changed my life. So, I booked myself an Airbnb called Healing Jungle. I thought that it's just a fancy name that the owner came up with because that's what a lot of other Airbnb listings are called. Because the place is beside a rice field, so they call it Healing. Yeah, so this place was in the north. It was a 2 hours drive away from where I parted with my friends. And I remember I was a little scared taking the taxi by myself as I left further away from the city. There was this fear of, am I going to be kidnapped? Because, to be honest, even if I was gonna be kidnapped, no one would know and I wouldn't know too. So there was this fear and I was trying to be alert, but I don't know, nothing can be done actually. Anyway, it was a really long drive and it felt like it was getting colder in the taxi, which was really weird, because Bali is always so hot. It's like a summer place. And so I decided to ask the driver and he explained that it was because we were going up in altitude. And I didn't even know that the place I was going had a higher altitude. I thought Bali was the same altitude throughout. Anyway, I had a really, really lovely conversation with the driver throughout our 2 hours. And when we reached the accommodation, he couldn't find the place even though we reached on the maps. And so I contacted the Airbnb and someone came to pick me up. And the reason why we couldn't find it was because the accom is below the ground level, if it makes sense. This is the road. And we had to take another road down by scooter to get to that place. So it's nestled below, it's hidden. Yeah. And then the person who picked me up is a really hot Angmo guy. I'm not even kidding. I don't find most people hot, but he's really hot. And then something stupid happened, which was that I burned my leg from the exhaust pipe because I didn't know exhaust pipes existed. And it was really painful. I'm not even gonna lie. Later on, I found out that the guy is a full-time traveler, like two others there, and they were working in exchange for food and accom. Honestly, that blew my mind because it was the first time I met full-time travelers. Like, no one around me or the place I come from, Singapore, were like that. Everyone's just working office jobs who would travel and not earn money, you know? Anyway, on that night, there were other tourists around, so we sat down and we shared dinner together. And even this was a really new experience to me because I've only gone on holidays with family, friends. At most, I meet new people because we're in the same tour group, but I never shared a table with strangers before, and we even exchanged travel stories. And I was the quietest person at the table because I was so shy, really introverted. I felt like I didn't really have much interesting stories to share. Yeah. Also, the context is that this Airbnb is in the middle of a local village and there are no restaurants nearby. I can't speak the local language. I can't ride a scooter, so I honestly had no choice. Like, I had no choice to go out for food and I could only eat the food that the owner's wife cooked, which was super duper duper yummy. I mean, I had to pay for the meals, but every meal is so freaking good. There was one night we even made pizza together with wood fire. I remember on the very first night, I was actually very scared because there was no lights except for the sensor lights scattered on the path. Like I'm not even kidding. Like coming from a place like Singapore, a city, it's so bright even at night, but at that place it was completely dark. And the houses were hand built, which is really cool, and they were built like with some spaces in between. So I just felt all alone, you know. And okay, yeah, there are no proper locks in that place. Um, the toilet has a door, but it's the front of the toilet has a door, but the back of the toilet has half a wall missing. So like the top half is missing, and people can see me shower or use the toilet basically. Yeah. Oh yeah, so at night I can hear the insects really loudly and really clearly because I'm just surrounded by greens. I'm literally in a jungle. But the good thing is that it is so quiet that it can also feel calm at the same time. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know how to explain it. Even living in a hand-built house, like a little hut, is a really special experience, and there are a lot of things that I can't put into words because you just have to experience it yourself. And this trip was roughly 2 years ago in May 2023, and we are in July 2025. And I remember this experience so freaking clearly. And if anyone were to go to Bali, I totally recommend you this place. But I can tell you that it's not your typical nice Airbnb and all that. It's like, I don't know, it's just very homely. Oh, also one thing. I forgot to put this in my script, but it's a healing jungle because they do spiritual stuff. But so I didn't know when I booked this place, right? I didn't know where I was going. I don't know so much information about it. And when I found out, I was like, oh, there's like yoga, there's like meditation, but it's not a spiritual retreat center. You know, it's not like a white gold place. Or, I don't know, but I was definitely taken aback. They do a little, not a little, they do quite a number of spiritual, going back to nature practices, mud baths, getting boiled in a huge pot with fire. Not even kidding. Like if you Google them, that's one of the pictures. Yeah, so I didn't participate in these activities, but I've seen other tourists who went. I think it's called a cleansing ritual or something. But anyway, I just want to say that I wouldn't consider myself spiritual, and this spiritual practices didn't affect my experience because I had a really good time with the owner, his family, and the full-time travelers who were working there. So yeah, nothing against it. I still like the place a lot. Okay, moving on. When the next day came, I started to explore the place because it's the day, and I found so many hidden wonders. There were many trails around. Like imagine a jungle, but then they built some trails so that it's easier to walk through. There was a big duck pond. I could feed the ducks. There were many pets. There were like a few dogs and one cat. There's a mini waterfall where you can shower at. Pretty cool. And then there is also a swimming pool with spring water, I think. And it was also at this place where I wrote go, G-O, on my hand because I had a revelation of go first and then figure it out later. And then a week later, when I moved to my next Airbnb, there was a tattoo shop right across and I got it tattooed. Just one of my most spontaneous decisions ever. And it's here on my hand. Yeah. And then on the third day, the owner brought me to camp overnight at a hill that he just bought in the morning. Crazy, right? Like this place is just crazy, out of the world. He just bought a hill because he wanted to build 3 houses there for his next Airbnb. And then he just asked me if I wanted to come along. Fucking crazy. Anyway, we rode the scooter up because I don't know how to ride a scooter, so I rode behind him. It was a very scary ride up because the path was not cleared yet. So we were like going through like plantation. It was like rocky, it was like jerking all the time. And I was freaking like holding on to my dear life while he just laughed and he said, "Don't worry, be happy." Like he's a very happy-go-lucky, positive guy with a lot of positive energy around him. That was funny and very memorable. It's also my first time camping overseas, yes, and camping outdoor too. So that night, he called his friends to come over to help us set up our tents, and we also built a bonfire to heat up our food that we brought up. And then the next day, he asked me to plant a coconut tree, and I did. And oh, it was so lovely waking up to the sunrise. Like I woke up naturally and I opened up the tent. I was like, whoa, it's not like a breathtaking sunrise, like you climb up a mountain and you see the clouds. It's a very like subtle pinkish orange sunrise, and it felt so good. Yeah, it's like this kind of experiences that they're so good because I didn't plan them. I didn't expect them. So honestly, there were like no expectations, you know. I was crazy. I even remember that night we had a heart-to-heart talk. It was like me, the owner, and the hot guy. So the story was that the two other full-time travelers were supposed to join us. They were a couple, but I don't know why they couldn't make it, and then afterwards it was too late for them to come up, and it would have been dangerous. So it was just me and the two guys, and honestly, I got scared again because these are people that I just met a day and a half ago, complete strangers. I have no idea where I am, and like camping outdoor with two male strangers, scary, but I still did it. Oh, and then the owner even asked me to add their location on Google Maps. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, so like I was one last thing that I forgot to add in my script again, which was that I wanted to learn how to ride a scooter, and there were a few scooters. So I asked the hot guy if he was willing to teach me, and he agreed. So he just like told me how to ride it and then asked me to ride it myself. And then we practiced it in the jungle, like the Airbnb itself, and it was a really stupid decision that we both didn't think through because initially I was just practicing in a really small space, and then he's like, okay, let's try it a bit more. We went to find like a place with like a longer road. Okay, so the thing is there was no road. It's a jungle, right? So it's like mud. It's like not mud, but like you know what I mean? It's not cemented ground. It's not road surface. And that place was a slope. So I went up and I felt like I needed to accelerate to go up because I don't want to be rolling downwards. So I accelerated. And then when I hit the top, I realized that this is going too fast. And I got so scared. So I let go of my hand. And then the accident happened. Both me and the bike fell like towards one side, and there was a little river on that side. So the bike fell into the river, and I fell down, but then my hand held onto like a ledge. So like both hands were on the ledge, and then the Angmo guy came to like help me up. But then like the bike was like stuck below, so he tried to go down and try to pick it up himself, but it was like too heavy. And so then he had to get help from like everyone. They found like they had to find how do I say it? Find an easier access to the river so that they can drag the bike out on like a gradual slope instead of like the height where I fell from, because it was like and they couldn't pull up such a heavy bike at such a steep slope. Yeah, and then I to pay for part of the what is it called? I'm having a really bad mind block right now, but anyway, I have to pay for the damages, right? Yeah. I felt bad. Of course I felt bad, and also like I hurt myself. Luckily not so bad, just bruises and cuts. Oh yeah, anyway, the owner was so nice because he like when he brings people to the outdoor camps, he charges them, but he didn't charge me. And I felt bad already, so okay, anyway. very interesting experience. Another thing that I didn't expect, but it all adds to the experience, Now I have a cool story to tell that I got into a motorbike accident because I was learning it in the jungle. Anyway, I was only supposed to stay at this Airbnb for 3 days, but I extended it to a week because the people there are so good and it just made me feel so calm that okay, anyway, the connection there is really bad. I couldn't really use my phone and my laptop. So I just spent a lot of time journaling, chilling, playing the pets, walking around, just connecting with myself and nature. And the reason why I say this place changed my life, it changed my outlook on traveling, was because I met full-time travelers. And yeah, I might have followed full-time travelers, content creators doing travel on social media, but I think it's a whole different game to see them in real life, talk to them, interact with them. Yeah, so it's really crazy to even think about traveling without money. And all these people had was money to pay for their flight tickets and transport costs and visa runs. It's so cool. They are just living for the experience. These people come from Spain. Is it Spain? Was it Brazil? I can't remember, but somewhere in Europe. And they were willing to come all the way to Asia, in a remote place that Asians probably don't even know, to do this work, to host guests, to build houses, just for food and accommodation. It's crazy to think about it, if I ask any of my friends around me whether they would do this, they'll be like, it's so stupid. I'd rather earn money. Yeah, so this trip was definitely not a typical holiday. I think what I experienced is a different lifestyle, and because of this interaction with them, it truly opened up my mind and it gave me the courage to do the same thing. So a couple months later, I just decided to go to Europe and did farm work in exchange for food and a cup too. Yeah, it's a long 5 months trip, which I'll share in the next video. Okay, yeah, that's it for now. Thank you for listening to me share and ramble. I had a little script, but I definitely went out of it and it's fine. I think I really like doing chill vlogs and sharing. So, till the next one. Bye.